Hey folks, it's Mad Rabbit back in World of Warcraft. And this is a familiar face, probably to some of you, if you look really closely. Yeah, this is Flamebroil. Well, we've just hit patch 5.0.4, if that's it correctly stated. And yeah, I just spent pretty much several hours trying to get several of my people up to snuff. Getting their action bars set up, picking their talents, picking their glyphs, looking for more glyphs, making some, of course. If you guys have been watching my WoW Talk series, I did try and prepare you guys for it, but sadly I was not prepared for it myself. I was missing quite a few, recipes for, or actually I don't know what you would call them. I guess for inscriptionists. I was missing a lot of inscriptions on my inscriptionist on another server. At least on the main server I play on. So sadly, a lot of the ones I wanted I couldn't really use, and I didn't feel like paying the money for them. So, um, yeah, just thought maybe I'd come back and just show you a few of the changes here, and maybe just kind of make this another Flamebroil episode. Actually, this will be episode 50 if I'm remembering right. I think I stopped at 49 earlier last month. I know the last episode was in July, and I just sort of stopped making these shows. It seemed like there was a kind of a lack of interest, and not too much. I don't know. Some of the earlier shows seemed to have a lot of people watching it, but things seem to have died down quite a bit. But yeah, as you'll see, there's been quite a few changes with this class. I'm not really, as I've said before, I'm not some sort of an expert on the shaman class, and I've told you guys for a few months leading up to these patches that yeah, indeed we're going to be getting some changes, and we're supposed to have a little bit of a DPS boost at least. The class isn't supposed to, I guess, not supposed to suck as bad, but who knows for sure. um, so I thought maybe I'd put it through another little test run and see for sure, because as you can see here, we don't have a totem bar anymore. And I'm looking that they must have eliminated a few of the totems, or yeah, maybe you get them at later levels now. Because if you remember right, yes, I'm still level 70, haven't really changed. I'm on the very verge of 71, as you see here. Just a smidge away, probably one or two kills away from it. So there really doesn't seem to be, and these I've just noticed also in some of my testing, that the earth elemental totem and the fire elemental totem share the same cooldown. Let me just actually hit one. I'm assuming there's probably a reasoning for this. Obviously Blizzard didn't want to see two elementals popping out at once, and with a 5-minute cooldown, I suspect that one's probably going to be better at single target damage like this dude, and this guy might be a little bit better. The fire one might be a little better at maybe area or something. I don't know. I haven't tested it out yet. Obviously, going to be a lot of theory crafters out there coming up with things, ideas. Also been learning some new some macros. Macros for a long time for me have kind of blown my mind. But I spent the time since our last episode actually learning some of them, and yeah, I learned some simple ones. Just like, let me bring up my macro thing here. Just simple ones like this. If you can read it, bring it up full screen. Switch to high definition. Just slash start attack and slash cast chain lightning. Or I did the same thing with lightning bolt. Just it'll help you get into the combat a little bit quicker. And you want to do it on these, but you sort of want to do that on these because these will be your starters when you're either in a dungeon or you're solo running. So because that'll actually keep you away from casting flame shock and lava burst first, because you want to like spend that first cast on this and then hit him with flame shock, hit him with lava burst. Like, then again, maybe things have changed. I don't really know, because now earthquake looks like it's only on a 10-second cooldown here. I really only just got this ability. Actually, I don't even remember if I had this ability when last we played. I don't think I had it. So this is sort of new for me. I don't know if you spam this whenever it's off cooldown. If it's got 10-second cooldown, why wouldn't I keep using it? And it lasts for 8.82 seconds. Yeah, okay. Well, and using your Earth Shock, of course, when you have certain charges built up. I think it procs anyway, so you don't really have to pay too much attention to it. We'll just go bling. So the Totemic Recall, it really isn't that useful unless you're suffering from some mana problems and you're dropping these a lot. Honestly, they're not that good. These totems. There's only one I really like. Let's see, summon. I think it was this one here, Earth Grab, where it basically does like an area root, rooting your enemies. This I can see being really good for really any situation, not even PvP. Although I'm pretty sure PvP, yes, but I don't do PvP. But I think this will be good for solo questing, even in dungeons. It'll be good. So that's something I might use. I might actually move it a little bit closer. And remembering to use this thing here. It's just one of those cooldowns you blow for, when you're in combat or something. Unfortunately, if you get a mage in the group also, you're going to they might use Time Warp, and you sort of have to time it properly and use Bloodlust only on, like a boss battle or something. So that's something to consider also. This one here sort of makes you, let's see, it's sort of phase. He takes less damage. Well, I guess you probably can compare it to something that the Rogue has, since I play the Rogue most. Sort of like Cloak of Shadows when you got that buff on it. The glyph on it, you get like a 40% reduction to physical damage or something. This thing might just be 40% off across the board though, so that's a little better. And let me see what did I pick? I'll actually show you guys what I picked. I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. I did pick that Astral Shift one as compared to these two, and I'm not really sure. Let's see, I really hate hitting these things, and maybe I will switch to a passive one whenever a damaging attack. Both your health is increased. I might actually switch to this just because it's passive. The less I have to do, the better. This is interesting too, but again, I don't want to have to hit a totem. They're boring. And if they're gonna eliminate them, I'm gonna try and just avoid even using them. Then, if that's the way they're gonna take it. Earth Grab Totem. I think that's the one where I was just talking about. That's why I picked it. It was sort of interesting. This is good for like if you're in a group situation, but I don't really. Yeah, you get immunity, the movement impairing effects. You don't get that too much in dungeons. Maybe some raid things or Frost Shock I don't use too much. If you're solo questing a lot more than maybe you're dungeon running, maybe you'd want to use it as a starter if you have two. I don't know. I really wouldn't see that being all that useful for too many situations. More for PvP I could see, but here, I would say Call the Elements. That's what I was talking about. It really sucks upon reading it, so I might change this one also. Passive ones are always better. Relocates inactive to a specified location. Who cares? Really, who cares? I'm going to try not to use too many other than maybe just the big ones for the boss battles. When a totem is placed before its duration expires, I guess that could be useful. Reducing the cooldown time, so maybe something like this gets dropped and its cooldown time is 50% less if it gets destroyed. Yeah, that could actually be pretty good. I think it would actually be better and more useful than this piece of crap. And it's passive, so there you go. Elemental Mastery, calling upon the element of 40. Okay, so you get a buff, a haste buff for a short period of time. This one here, instant. Next station, 10. I'm looking at this more and more, and that looks completely useless. So does the. I don't know. When your spells are duplicating the spell's effects. I almost want to go for this just because it's passive, and I'm not thrilled with these two. So I'm almost going to respec this whole guy and what I just told you. Basically this one, I'll keep this because I like this one, and most likely taking it off of this and going probably to the passive one. And glyph wise, I didn't have many glyphs if you guys remember right. I just don't have the money on this guy. He's got 600 and something. My banker dude, I forgot what he had. Yes, there it is there, 953. I might be able to rustle up enough money to buy a few glyphs if they're not overpriced, but that's the problem. Like I said in my WoW Talk videos, they're gonna be freaking overpriced now because they just everything hit and a lot of people are missing them. So yeah, and I didn't find too many in the ones I had here that I liked. I took a few anyway. Telluric Currents, that's the one I took. What is that one? Clutch your people would restore 2% of your mana. That really sucks. Really does. If it's a better one, I'd pick it. And this one here takes 5% longer to cast, but you can cast it while moving. I don't know. I guess it's nice to be able to cast it while moving, and 5% really isn't that much. So, I don't know. According to this, Water Shield is a restoration one now. I found myself using it a lot before. I don't know. So, maybe if they redid some of the mana stuff in this, maybe it won't be so bad, and I won't have to use Water Shield much. But obviously we got quite a few other ones here that I'd like to try out that probably would do better. I'm sure. I don't know why they didn't let me have some of these. I actually did buy some. I don't know. Why is this not... I bought this one. Or something very similar to that before. Some of these other ones too. Where's... yeah, you want this one. Increases the radius of the Fire Nova. Actually, I don't use Fire Nova. I use Lava Burst. Flame Shock increases the duration, but reduces the initial damage. A lot of these things have trade-offs now. So you can actually reduce the cooldown of one of these dudes. So maybe you'll do fire, reduce the. I don't know. There's a lot of them I'd like to try out. Chain Lightning now strikes 2 additional talk, but deals 10% less damage. I could do without that. Really, I could. I really could. So it's like almost like you don't even need glyphs anymore because they have trade-offs on them. There's gonna be a few here and there that are just you need. Like let's see here, causes your earthquake spell to also reduce the movement speed. Now that would be good because there's no penalty there. So that would be something I'd want to use. Wind shear. Let's see what that's just your interrupt. Okay, whatever. Minor ones only had 3, and let's see your chain heal. Yeah, your lava lash. I don't really know how it spreads. Flame shock. Why wouldn't you want it to? But then again, I don't know the dynamics of the class yet. We only just got to the patch. You can change your appearance. I guess it'd be kind of nice to screw around with some of these things. These frivolous ones for the miners. Remove the knockback of your thunderstorm spell, which is good when you're in a dungeon group because people get really kind of angry with you. But most of the time I find it's who cares. I don't mind. I like it. I like the knockback. So honestly, glyphs are a little lacking in my opinion. I do like the novelty ones though, but there'll be a few that basically it's gonna end up being they didn't want to go the route where they said you were stuck in the one line of like there's going to be certain ones that are going to be mandatory. You can already see certain ones that don't have a penalty to them and that you're going to have to take. So yeah, well, I hope you guys enjoyed episode 50. This is a little bit departure, not actually doing anything, just talking about the shaman class. Not that I'm a big expert, but yeah, if you remember last episode 49, I think it was, that I was trying to drum up business here for this particular series. I think what I might do is reduce the amount I do this and maybe how often. I personally am not a big fan of this class. I never have been, and I don't have a big support network for it here as far as money goes. I can't even buy some of these freaking glyphs. I mean, it's really sad when you can't do that. But oh well, So I will probably occasionally make a Flamebroil episode, and probably more so maybe a couple weeks after Mists of Pandaria hits and I get a little bit burned out on questing and whatnot, but for the most part, I'm really not going to be doing much leveling off the air. So when we do come back to this series, I'll probably still be around 70, maybe a little bit above that. I don't know, who knows. I might just run a dungeon or two and test some of this stuff out, and we'll see. I might be able to buy a couple glyphs. I do have some money. So I guess that's it for this episode, guys. The triumphant return of Flamebroil, and hopefully you guys liked it. I do, hope, like I said last episode, that you support the series. Remember to hit that like button on the way out. Leave a comment if you could. If you got some suggestions for the series, or keep going, or words of encouragement, whatnot, we'll see. And I'll catch you soon. It's Mad Rabbit signing off. Adios.